I'm not me when I'm hungry. How about you, Liz?
Find out next on Junk Feud.
Aw, yeah, welcome to Junk Feud, the podcast about junk food, where we rate and review mystery treats to determine which one will be the undisputed champion of snacks. I'm your host, Mike. Alongside me, as always, Alyssa.
Dad.
Yeah, bud.
Why did the koala get the job?
Why did the koala get the job?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because he was koalified.
Oh, that was a dad joke, a joke you tell to your dad. If you'd like to submit a dad joke for Alyssa to tell me on the show, you can send it in via email to junkfeudpod@gmail.com. That's junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Liz.
Yeah.
What's going on, bud? How's your day?
Well, I haven't really had much to do today since it's kind of morning.
Yeah, we're recording this early in the morning. We've got a lot to do today. What have you got going on?
My friend is coming over today.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
My friend is going to come over, and then I'm going to have my other friend over with her.
Are you guys going to, eat some snacks probably?
Probably, yeah.
What kind of snacks are you going to eat? When you have, a play date at the house with your friends, when they come over, what do you guys like to snack on?
Pringles.
Pringles?
Yeah.
There are a lot of different types of Pringles, huh?
Yeah.
What would you say are your favorite Pringles?
Sour cream and onion and pizza.
Pizza Pringles are really good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of pizza snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had, we're going to have these when we do the road trip season. Have you ever had pizza combos?
No.
Do you know what combos are?
No.
Combos were a big deal when I was a kid.
Oh, yes, actually, yeah. You told me about these. They're, it's kind of like Chex Mix, right?
Well, not exactly. You could maybe use them in Chex Mix. That would be a super upgraded Chex Mix if you put pizza combos in there. A combo is like a crackly shell on the outside, either plain dough or a pretzel. The really good ones are usually like a pretzel cracker on the outside. So a plain cracker or a pretzel cracker, and then it has some sort of filling in the inside.
Those sound really crunchy.
The pretzel ones they're super crunchy. They've got peanut butter or cheese.
Blech.
And then there's a little bit of foreshadowing for us, I think. You don't like peanut butter?
No, or peanuts.
Uh-oh. Well, we're in bad shape today then. The pizza combos had cheese and tomato sauce flavoring on a cracker crust that was supposed to be like good. Pizza dough. They are really good. We might have to go out and get those later.
Absolutely.
We do have to run to the store anyway.
Are they at the store that we're going to?
That's a good question. I don't know. They've got them at Wawa, 7-Eleven, those kinds of places.
Okay. Well, we'll have to go to Wawa then.
So if you were going to get something like that to eat, like a bag of combos, here's a question I think that's probably going to come up as we do this show over and over again. What counts as a snack? What can we possibly rate and review on this show? Is there anything that's off limits? What's a snack and what isn't a snack? What do you think?
Snacks are more like tiny things that you can eat if you're hungry, but it's not really like a full-on meal.
Yeah, I think that's the big distinction. I think for us, anything that we're going to eat on the show is basically anything that you'd be embarrassed to tell somebody that you had as a meal.
Yeah, because one time I had Doritos for lunch.
Yeah, so that's a snack. If somebody asked you what did you have for dinner tonight? And you said, I had Pop-Tarts for dinner, they'd probably give you the side eye.
I don't like Pop-Tarts.
Oh my goodness. That's not the point. You know what we do like though?
What?
We like snacks, and that means we need to talk about our next snack that we're reviewing today that's going to take on the incumbent champion, our challenger, Snickers.
Oh, yay!
Liz, what do you know about Snickers? Anything?
Not really.
Without looking at the notes.
No, I actually don't.
You don't know anything at all about Snickers?
No.
Well, you know it's a candy bar, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who makes the Snickers candy bar?
Mars.
What company? Mars. The Mars Company. There's lots of interesting facts about Snickers that we found out when we were looking up this snack today to try to do a little bit of background research so that we could talk about it on the show before we eat it and try it out and see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Do you know what's in a Snickers? What are the ingredients? Generally speaking.
What
are the components?
I know that there's chocolate.
Chocolate, sure.
How do most people say? Caramel or caramel?
Oh, that's a good question. How do you say it?
I say caramel.
You say caramel?
Or caramel.
Or caramel.
Depends on what I'm talking about.
Oh, so what would be the situations in which you might say caramel or caramel alternatively?
I say caramel apple.
Okay.
But
you wouldn't say caramel apple, you would say caramel apple?
Yeah.
Sure.
But I like saying caramel for candy bar for Snickers, but I like saying caramel for Twix.
Oh, that's weird.
The wrapping makes me feel more caramel.
The wrapping of a Twix feels more like caramel?
Yeah.
So let's think about that. The wrapper on a Twix is gold. Like metallic gold. The wrapper on a Snickers is a very dark brown.
Yeah.
So dark brown for you is caramel and gold is caramel.
Yeah.
Like a really buttery caramel would be in a Twix, but like a deep, dark, almost bitter caramel would be in a Snickers.
Yeah.
Well, there are a few different ways to pronounce that word. There was a study done by North Carolina State Linguistics Department. They produced a map showing that most people across the United States say it with 2 syllables, like caramel, but on the East Coast, the Northeast particularly, where we're located, some people say it was 3 syllables, like caramel. And then also there are alternative pronunciations of that 3-syllable word. Some people say caramel, and some people say caramel, and some people say caramel. Those are like very small nuances, very small differences, but it's important.
I feel like I like saying caramel more, but for most things I call them caramel.
Okay, so that's interesting. Even like within yourself, just as one person, there are situations in which you might pronounce those words differently.
Yeah, so I said both ways just in case like they get mad.
Oh, you're hedging your bets.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ingredients? We know chocolate, obviously. There's chocolate on the outside of these.
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
I don't like peanut butter with chocolate.
Okay. Well, this is not peanut butter. These are actual peanuts. That's kind of an interesting differentiation. There were peanut butter Snickers bars.
And
you're looking at one right now.
There is, you can see the caramel coming out from it when you bite it.
Yeah, it was a very
stings.
chewy caramel, huh?
Yeah, which I'm not supposed to have.
Because
of braces.
Because of braces, sure.
And then there are, what's that called again?
What's that stuff called?
I just call it the wafer.
The wafer. Well, it's not a wafer.
Not what it's called. It's something with a D.
It's not something with a D. A wafer would be something like that's thin and crisp, right? Like a cookie in a Twix or a wafer, or almost like the wafer in a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
But this is not. This is a soft, chewy kind of candy that's inside the candy bar.
Oh my goodness.
That's inside the Snickers.
Called? Is it B or D?
It's neither of those. Keep trying.
Really?
It's nougat-less.
Why did I think of B?
I don't know. Do you know what nougat is?
It is a soft, crunchy candy.
Well, it's not soft and crunchy.
Well,
it is soft and it's a little bit chewy.
Yeah.
I guess it could be crunchy, like if it was frozen. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
In my opinion, the texture feels like cardboard.
The texture of nougat feels like cardboard?
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't portend very well for our snack today, does it?
No, it doesn't, because that's 2 things I don't like about it already.
Oh, I think you're being a little bit biased here, maybe. Against our snack, against our challenger, it's got an uphill battle to try to unseat the double stuffed Oreo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Getting back to nougat for a moment, there's a YouTuber named Adam Ragusa who makes really nicely researched food videos on YouTube. And he got to talk to some food scientists about what exactly nougat is anyway, because it's in a lot of candy bars. It seems to be the type of ingredient candy bar manufacturers like to put into their snacks because it's light and probably fairly inexpensive to make. Nougat is sort of like an aerated sugar syrup. So it's candy that gets air pumped and whipped into it, and it's stabilized so that it doesn't deflate by some sort of protein. In nougat, this is usually egg whites, like it's almost like a meringue or a marshmallow. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, one of the things that Adam Ragusa talks about in his videos a lot is the concept of heterogeneity in food. Do you know what heterogeneity is?
No clue.
So have you seen the word homogeneous on milk cartons, for example?
No.
Homogenized milk?
Nope.
Well, homogenized means that the things that make up that substance are all the same. Homogenized, homogeneous, homogeneous. That means the same. So heterogeneous means maybe the opposite of that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so heterogeneity in food are things that have different types of components that are different from each other in flavor or texture, weight, those sorts of things. So what do you think heterogeneity in a Snickers might be? If it has different what?
Probably milk and egg.
Well, I mean like heterogeneity in the ingredients itself. So it's got chocolate, which is smooth and creamy, but a little bit crisp on the outside.
The chocolate kind of tastes like the Hershey Park chocolate that you make. If you've ever been to Hershey Park and you went to the chocolate factory.
Oh, yeah. Why do you think that might be?
I don't know. The chocolate tastes like Hershey's.
Yeah. What are some of those other ingredients and what are some of their characteristics that would give this some heterogeneity?
The chocolate is very good.
The chocolate is very good. What about the caramel or caramel, depending on how you say it?
It's very chewy and stringy.
Sure. Chewy, stretchy, soft. The nougat is sort of fluffy and also a little bit chewy. And then the peanuts are
crunchy.
So there's all those different sorts of flavors and textures that are going on inside the snack at the same time. We should probably talk about the peanuts for a moment. You do like peanuts.
Yeah.
You like peanuts quite a bit. We eat peanuts very often. You like peanuts, salted cocktail peanuts out of a can. You like, I don't know if you've ever had dry roasted peanuts. Have you ever had dry roasted peanuts?
No, but you told me they were very good.
They're very good. We also eat the peanuts in the shell, either salted or unsalted.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to go to the Ocean City Boardwalk just about every year, at least for a day trip. Sometimes we would stay there. And one of the vendors on the boardwalk was a Planters peanut shop. And they had all sorts of old Planters peanut paraphernalia. Planters peanut paraphernalia. Say that 3 times fast. Planters peanut paraphernalia.
Planters peanut
Paraphernalia.
I can't do it.
Planters peanut paraphernalia.
Planters peanut paraphernalia.
Anyway, there were all sorts of...
Planters peanut paraphernalia.
Very good. You got it. There were all sorts of interesting things in this Planters peanut shop. I think the guy that used to run it now has a small store somewhere in the vicinity of Atlantic City. But on the Ocean City Boardwalk, you could walk in and there was a big Mr. Peanut statue and there were all sorts of Mr. Peanut toys. I remember I had a Mr. Peanut drinking straw. Like reusable drinking straws are very popular now. When I was growing up, that wasn't a big thing, but I had a Mr. Peanut drinking straw and there was a little green peanut on the end that you could chew on. You couldn't eat it. It was plastic, but you could chew on it while you were drinking from whatever vessel you were drinking out of with the Mr. Peanut straw. And in the front of the store, they had a big roasting oven and they would roast peanuts all day long. So the whole boardwalk smelled like roasted and salted peanuts. It was delicious and we would always get a bag of these and usually sit on the balcony of wherever we were staying, eat peanuts and maybe watch the sunrise over the ocean.
That straw is either in the trash at Grandma's or in that gray bin next to you.
It's almost certainly still at Grandma's house. You know, I did check eBay and they are still for sale on there. I may pick one up.
Can I get one?
A Mr. Peanut straw from eBay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. What color would you get? Mine was green, I think.
I would get green, pink, or orange.
Green, pink, or orange. Those are good colors.
Or yellow.
Your little brother, his favorite color is?
Orange.
And his second favorite color is?
Yellow.
Light orange.
Light orange. Oh, yeah.
And his third favorite color is
dark orange.
Dark orange. So we were talking about peanuts in Snickers because this is the first time on this show that we've had a snack that takes advantage of, first of all, peanuts as a key ingredient, and secondly, the synergy of the salty and sweet flavor combination.
What does synergy mean?
What do you think synergy means? We could ask you for Alyssa Explains It All one day. Actually, no, that's when you tell me something. Ask an 11-year-old is when I ask you about something. So let's do an impromptu back-of-the-box segment. Ask an 11-year-old. Alyssa.
Yeah.
What does synergy mean?
Does it mean I'm just making a guess since this is what you said, salty and sweet?
Well, salty and sweet is an example of synergy. What do you think synergy in the broader context might mean?
I'm not sure.
Synergy is when the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So if you put certain things together, it's kind of like a 1 + 1 = 3 scenario. So when you put something salty together, you get the characteristics of the salty thing. When you put it with something sweet, you get the characteristics of the sweet thing, but it's not just sweet and salty. It creates this new flavor that's sweet and salty as a combination together, which elevates it above just the normal 2 flavors that you would have. So synergy is the coming together of a bunch of things to make something greater than you would get if you just had those things individually. Does that make sense?
A Reese's peanut butter cup.
So exactly like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Which I don't like either.
Which you have said that you don't like. It's your mother's absolute favorite treat, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have to have her on as a guest when we do Reese's cups.
There's no way she's going to do that, but we'll try.
Oh, I bet she would do it. I think salty and sweet is probably my favorite flavor profile. I think chocolate-covered pretzels in particular.
Those are so good.
Yeah, so they really take advantage of the synergy that you get from the salty and sweet combination. You have the sweet and creamy chocolate, the crunchy, salty pretzel, all of those things together, the heterogeneity, as Adam would say, and the synergy of salty and sweet coming together to create this new flavor makes it one of my absolute favorite treats.
We just got these Thin Mint pretzels. They're so good.
Oh, yeah. Those are even better because they have smooth and creamy chocolate, salty, crunchy pretzels.
And like a bitter taste almost.
And then sort of the sharpness and almost bitterness of the...
Mint.
Yeah, sort of that herbaceousness from the mint. Some
very-
chocolate and mint together on its own
Very tasty.
is a synergistic composition. There's also another type of weird synergy that you get from this thing that is a southern delicacy that I think not many people where we live know about. And in the South, sometimes, people will take a bottle of Coca-Cola, they'll drink a little bit from the top of the bottle, and then they'll dump a packet of salted peanuts into the bottle of Coca-Cola.
You just did that the other day.
I just did that the other day. It's really fantastic. I lived in the South for a brief period of time. This was one of the things that I learned about when I was there. Salty peanuts in a sweet, bubbly Coke is really a nice thing to have on a summer day, sitting on a porch, looking out at the world, listening to the June bugs and the crickets. It's wonderful. It really is so good. You get the crunchiness from the peanuts, the sweetness and the effervescence of the Coca-Cola. Man, it's good. And it's almost like a meal in and of itself because you're getting some protein from the peanuts. You think that's funny?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm looking at our notes
What?
and about Chase.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get right into it then. The Snickers bar, as we digressed talking about peanuts and Coca-Cola and such things. The Snickers bar is a very popular candy bar. It is popular not just in the United States, but around the rest of the world too. In the United Kingdom, there was a version of the Snickers bar that was called what?
Cankers.
I'm sorry, did you just say cankers?
No, right there.
No, the Snickers bar.
Oh,
You're reading ahead.
my bad.
Yeah, the Snickers bar in the UK was called the Marathon bar until 1990.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's what you were reading. The Mars company that manufactures Snickers and the Marathon bar was concerned up until that point that people might confuse the word Snickers with the word knickers, which is slang for what?
Ladies' underwear.
Ladies' underwear. Knickers in the UK is ladies' underwear. Do you think it's funnier to say underwear or underpants? Which is the funnier word? Because you were giggling when you said underwear.
Under bunnies.
Under bunnies? Well, that's what your brother calls them. Under bunnies.
Undercovers.
Do you think it's funnier to say underpants or underwear or under bunnies?
Under bunnies.
Under bunnies for sure. I think underpants is a funny word.
I like underpants too, just because people always say Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants. Underpants gnomes. There were lots of funny underpants things. So that was the UK's version of the Snickers bar, which was called the Marathon bar until 1990.
Underwear just seems too proper.
Yeah, I suppose so. Undergarments, I think, would be the very proper way to say it.
Undergarments?
Jeeves, please lay out and iron my undergarments. Steam and press my undergarments for me. If you had a butler, would you make them iron your underwear?
No.
No?
That's just weird.
Our friend Dana, her grandmother, used to iron her underwear for her.
Interesting.
You're going to have to remind her that you know that the next time you see her. Do you know when the Snickers bar was introduced to markets lists? We talked about the UK version of the bar being called Marathon until 1990. In the US, when was the Snickers bar introduced?
1930.
1930, quite a long time ago.
And named after a horse.
The Snickers bar was named after a horse. The Mars family that invented the Snickers bar named it after their favorite horse, whose name was Snickers. Do you know any horses, Alyssa?
No.
You don't know any horses?
My friend used to ride horses, but I forget the name of her horse.
I don't think I know any horses either. My cousin used to ride horses when she was very small.
Yeah.
If you had to name a candy bar after an animal, what do you think you would name it?
Lamar.
Lamar? You would name a candy bar Lamar?
Yeah.
After what animal?
After my pet, cheetah.
Oh, so you're completely making this up because you do not have a pet cheetah named Lamar.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, if I had a cheetah, I would name it Lamar.
Liz,
Yeah.
the Snickers bar was invented by a guy named Frank Mars. When he was a kid, he did not have a pet cheetah named Lamar.
That sucks for him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He was a sickly child. You know what sickly means, right?
Like, sick.
Yeah, like sick all the time. He stayed home very often because he was so sickly to make candy with his mother. After he grew, he made and sold his own candy. And after high school, he married a woman named Ethel. They started the Morrow Bar Company. That later became Mars. And in 1920, they invented the Mars bar. A decade later, after the initial success of the Mars bar, they invented the Snickers bar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much the Snickers bar cost when it was invented in 1930?
No. Do you?
Yeah, of course I do. I did the notes for the show.
Oh, well, in that case, 5 cents?
5 cents. The initial sale price for the Snickers bar, according to the Mars company, was a nickel. Just 1 nickel.
Oh my goodness. I could buy like 100 of those.
Well, here's an interesting thing. There are conflicting reports that when the Snickers bar was introduced, it cost 20 cents.
What?
That would have made it the most expensive candy bar on the market by a margin, a factor of 4.
Whoa.
I can't find any original sourcing for this. There are a number of different circular reports that say it was 20 cents, but on the Mars website itself, in the history section about Snickers, they claim that it was 5 cents. So 5 cents probably, the initial offering for a Snickers bar in 1930. Do you know what the farm was called where the Mars family kept their horse named Snickers?
Nope.
As you scroll through the notes. The Mars family farm was called the Milky Way Farm.
Oh, that's a candy bar too.
That's also a candy bar, correct. There's Milky Way Farm, where they had the horse named Snickers that was owned by the Mars family who invented the Mars bar. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
What are some other things that were going on in 1930? Do you know anything that was happening in 1930, 90 years ago?
I was not alive, so no.
100% you were not alive 90-some years ago.
Christian George was caught in a Colorado avalanche, but that is not in 1930.
No, that was in 1998. We'll talk about that in a moment as you read ahead in the notes again.
I'm sorry.
In 1930, the world was in the throes of the Great Depression after
What
the
is
stock
that?
market crashes of 1929. Do you know what the Great Depression was?
No.
Do you know what a stock market crash is?
No. Oh, wait. Is that when, like, there's not a lot of food left?
Well, that would be food insecurity or a famine or something like that. Stock market crash is when the big markets, where everyone tracks how much things cost, where they're bought and sold, where investor confidence plummets. You know what plummets means, right? Goes down.
Yeah.
And when investor confidence decreases, then everybody sells all their stocks and the stock market crashes, and then value and money starts to disappear, and that has implications for the real world where people can't get enough food to eat.
Oh.
And that was part of the Great Depression. What else happened in 1930?
They did not teach us about that at all.
Well, make some guesses.
I really don't know.
Do you know who your mother's favorite cartoon character is?
No, but I have a guess
What's
since
your
I'm
guess?
reading. Howdy something?
No, incorrect.
No.
You're reading
I
ahead
am
again.
so confused.
In 1930, we're not looking at the notes. It's not in the notes.
Oh, then I don't know.
Yeah, I've noticed. In 1930, Betty Boop made her debut in cartoons, in a cartoon called Dizzy Dishes. Betty
We
Boop.
have a towel of her.
We have dish towels of Betty Boop. Your mother has a whole box somewhere with all sorts of Betty Boop memorabilia inside.
Betty Boop.
See, that's kind of one of the interesting things about telling people that you're interested in something, that you have a hobby, is that from that moment forward, once you tell somebody that you're interested in something, they will continue to get things for you that are related to that hobby. I once said when I was a kid that I liked an Elvis Presley song, and then I got from family members on birthdays and Christmas Elvis board games and Elvis t-shirts and Elvis hats and all sorts of Elvis junk.
It's like when you say you like something, that is now your new personality.
That's right. You should never tell somebody that you're into novelty ties, because for every holiday for the rest of your life, you will get novelty ties, which you will never be able to get rid of, and they will clog your closet. This is probably not going to be an issue for you.
Well, it might be.
Are you planning on wearing lots of ties when you grow up?
No, but I'm planning on getting lots of mugs.
Oh, so you're going to tell people that you like mugs, and then you're going to have lots of mugs in your closet.
Yeah, so maybe I won't do that actually.
So in 1930, the Snickers bar probably cost about 5 cents or so, as far as we can tell, what the company tells us. Do you know how much a Snickers bar costs now? How much we got this one for?
Probably like $2.
So like a regular snize, excuse me.
Snize.
A regular snize.
Regular snize.
A regular size Snickers bar costs in excess of $1, depending on where you get it, usually around $1.50. When I was growing up, on my way walking to school, there was a CVS. The CVS was adjacent to our school, right next to it. And the way that I walked to school, I would often cut through the CVS parking lot to get to the school, which meant that if I had a couple of quarters in my pocket, I would pop into the CVS on my way into school and I would buy a candy bar. Sometimes I would get a Snickers. Not always. I would buy a whatchamacallit or a Twix bar or whatever the new candy was that came out. Because candy bars at the CVS on the way to school were 50 cents when I was growing up. You don't really have this problem now, do you?
No, because I just have money in the back of my phone case and I don't walk to school.
That's true. And there is no store on your way to school. What I did get on most days, I can remember on the one summer, in the one school year that I would walk to school and stop in at the CVS and get candy bars. I would take 2 quarters out of my dad's change dish. Grandpa used to take the train to work every morning. So he had this big change dish on a shelf in his bedroom. It looked like a little pond, and it had Kermit the Frog sitting on the side of it, and the whole thing was filled up with quarters because he would use the quarters for the tickets for the train every morning.
Dad?
Yeah?
You took from him?
Well, we would borrow from each other.
Well, I'm going to start borrowing from you now.
In any event, there was this one year where there were Nestle Crunch bars.
Oh, I know those.
You've had a Nestle Crunch bar, right?
No, but I've heard of them.
Chocolate and crispy rice inside. You've never had a Nestle Crunch bar?
I haven't had a lot of bars. I just refuse to try them.
They had molded scenes from Universal Studios attractions on them because Universal Studios, the theme park in Orlando, Florida, was somewhat new at the time. So there was a time when I had candy bars of King Kong, Back to the Future, and Jaws that I could buy and eat on my way into school. It was wonderful. And there are some of those candy bars at Universal Studios now. Do you remember seeing those last year when we were there?
No, but I'm assuming they were there.
Liz, we talked about how much the Snickers bar costs now, a little bit over $1, usually between $1 and $2. We talked about how it costs 5 cents when it came out initially in 1930. Have you heard of the concept of shrinkflation?
Nope.
Shrinkflation is a portmanteau of 2 different words, shrinkage and inflation. They seem like they are opposites, don't they?
Yeah.
One is inflating something, which means it's growing. The other is shrinking something, which means it's naturally shrinking or getting smaller. In the United Kingdom, there is an Office of National Statistics that tracks food products that have decreased in size, that's shrinkage, while increasing in price, which is inflation.
Yeah.
In popular parlance, this is called the grocery shrink ray. What do you think the grocery shrink ray and shrinkflation might be?
Probably like grocery shortage.
It's kind of the idea where sizes of products that you can buy get smaller while the prices for those same items that you're now getting less of are going up. So you're paying more for less of the same thing. This has happened with Snickers. In the United Kingdom in particular, a regular Snickers bar has gone from 62.5 grams to just 48 grams in 2013, while prices have managed to increase over that period of time. So if you think about when we go to the store to buy ice cream, the big containers of ice cream that we get now,
yeah,
those used to be half-gallon containers of ice cream, and now they're something like 1.5 quarts or less. So they're significantly less, but they cost more. So you're getting less product for more money. Do you think that's good or fair?
No, this is why we buy pints.
Well, so in some cases, the pints are even smaller now, too. They're no longer pints, and they cost a lot more than they used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That kind of bothers you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Me too.
Like, we could have been getting half a gallon for cheaper than less than a gallon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, part of the way that companies like Mars, which produces Snickers, try to keep up with the costs of products that they manufacture, the ingredients cost them more money over time, for example, due to things like inflation, is they get sponsorships. We talked a little bit about sponsorships last time when we talked about Doritos, because Doritos heavily sponsors commercials and other types of advertisements. Snickers sponsors what? Do you know? What is Snickers very famously a sponsor of?
I don't know.
Maybe one of my favorite things in the whole world, professional wrestling.
Oh, yes.
Liz, there was a long time when Snickers was sponsoring WrestleMania.
Isn't that still what it's called?
Yeah, WrestleMania still happens every year. And Snickers has had a lot of different types of advertising campaigns that have been featured at WrestleMania over the years. You might remember some of these. Snickers is so satisfying. Not going anywhere for a while, have a Snickers. Hungry, why wait, have a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. That's the one they have right now, where they have celebrities that are in compromising positions in their advertisements. And it turns out that those are just people's friends who have gotten very angry because they're hungry and they need a Snickers bar. You remember some of those things?
I don't really watch the advertisements. I just kind of leave when the ads are on.
Well, Snickers has had a very long history of advertising. They've advertised at the Super Bowl. They've advertised on old television shows like Howdy Doody. There's a possibility that, you know what? SummerSlam is tonight, a big wrestling, I think they call them premier live events now. They used to be called pay-per-views. SummerSlam is tonight. What's your favorite wrestling match?
Like people?
Well, that would be your favorite wrestler. What's your favorite wrestling match where people are fighting each other? Do you remember any?
Like the different types of like rings and stuff.
Do you remember any individual wrestling matches that you liked?
Oh, I like when like all the girls and all the boys come out and they all fight together.
Oh, that's the Royal Rumble.
And I also like when two people go in the big cage and try to get the box of stuff from the top.
Yeah, I remember on your birthday one year, you had a birthday party and some of the girls got picked up late. And the night of your party was the night of the WWE Hell in a Cell show. And that's the big cage match that you were talking about. That was Sasha Banks and Bayley. And they were fighting each other. And I think they grabbed a toolbox from under the ring. They were beating each other with some of the weapons inside the toolbox. That's the one?
Oh, no. The one where you have to climb on the ladder to get the big box.
Oh, that would be like the Money in the Bank ladder match, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a briefcase on the top.
And like someone will push someone off the ladder and then climb and then it'll just keep going.
If you were going to be a wrestler, what would your wrestling name be?
Little Pecky.
Little Pecky. The animal, Little Pecky.
And my theme song would be our Junk Feud intro.
Your entrance music would be the Junkie theme song that I made up in GarageBand just a few minutes before we started the show.
Yes.
My favorite wrestling match of all time is from SummerSlam 1992, which was in Wembley Stadium in the United Kingdom. And it was Bret the Hitman Hart against Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. British Bulldog won. He captured the Intercontinental title. The place went nuts because he was the hometown boy. I think that's my favorite wrestling match of all time. And Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler of all time as well.
Didn't he die?
Nope, he's still around. He's in good shape too.
Really?
Bret Hart is doing very well. Yeah.
Wow.
It's very rare that happens with older wrestlers, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them die too young. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Liz, just a few years before that, in 1989, was when the Snickers ice cream bar was introduced. Have you ever had a Snickers ice cream bar?
No. But my friend's dad gets them a lot from the dollar store.
Oh, yeah, they're so good. There was this interesting trend for a while of turning candy bars into ice cream bars. The Snickers ice cream bar is probably the best known. There's also a Twix ice cream bar. In the Snickers ice cream bar, there's the regular chocolate shell around it. There's a slightly different kind of caramel, as far as I can tell. The caramel in the Snickers ice cream bar is different than the candy bar in that it's a lot thinner. It flows a little bit more easily, and it doesn't seize up when it's frozen. But there are also peanuts, so we're still doing salty and sweet. And then in place of the nougat, there's a nougat flavored ice cream. And it's really nice. It's soft and very lightly flavored. There's a little bit of subtleness to it. It's really good. You've never had one of those?
No, but we should get one.
Yeah, we should probably grab one when I
get my braces off.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea too. It's not hard to find a Snickers ice cream bar list, and it's not hard to find a Snickers bar anywhere because Snickers is the best-selling candy bar in the world.
No way.
Yeah, can you believe that?
I would have thought it would be Twix for sure.
You would have thought it would be Twix for sure?
Yeah.
Well, it's a Snickers bar. Snickers is the best-selling candy bar in the world. If you ask many people, Snickers usually comes up at least in the top 5 of best candy bars when they're rated. I think just a few years ago, there was a ranking in the LA Times. Yeah, 2019, the LA Times did a candy bar power ranking, which is where you get a whole lot of candy bars together and you try them all and you rate and rank them. The Snickers ranked number 4 in the LA Times Candy Bar Power Rankings from 2019. And there's a lot to like about Snickers bars. Mars makes about 15 million Snickers bars a day. It was the first fun-size bar. We had a fun-size Snickers today, didn't we?
Yeah. You did. I didn't.
Oh, that's right. I had one because we put them in the freezer so that we could try a frozen Snickers bar, which we'll talk about later. We also had half of a full-size Snickers bar. Liz,
yeah.
When I was growing up, if you were going out on Halloween to trick-or-treat, the house that had full-size candy bars was like the place that you would target first and foremost. And if you were going to be a little bit tricky, you would even maybe go back later in the night to try to hit them up again. I think there should be an app on the App Store that you can get on your phone to find and track all of the houses on Halloween that give out full-size candy bars. Do you think that's something you could get behind?
I wouldn't get that just because now in our neighborhood, they give a lot of big treats instead of the smaller ones.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you mostly got fun-size bars. Some places, some houses were still giving out things like pennies or pencil erasers or apples or little bags of pretzels. I can't deal with that. I was a candy guy. I wanted candy. I wanted to take the pillowcase, fill it up with treats, take it home, dump it out, sort it all, and then eat as much of it as I possibly could that night.
I don't like candy a lot. That much, at least.
You know, you do a podcast about eating junk food and you don't like candy. This is going to be tough for us.
I like candy. It's not my favorite thing to just snack on.
Well, if you liked candy more, you would have good luck with Snickers because there's more than 40 different variations worldwide of Snickers bars.
Oh,
We've
my
talked
goodness.
about Oreos and how there are more than 130 varieties of those, more than 100 varieties of Doritos.
Pringles.
A lot of different Pringles we talked about today. There are more than 40 different variations of the Snickers bar. There was a caffeinated version, like Snickers with caffeine.
Mom would like that.
She probably would, you're right. When the Shrek movie came out, there was a promotional Shrek Snickers bar that had green filling inside. That was probably pretty gross looking, huh?
Yeah, it probably just looked like snot.
I think that was probably the idea, right? Like swamp slime or boogers or something gross like that.
Ew.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Aside from being one of the top Halloween treats that you could get while trick-or-treating, Snickers has kind of played up its reputation as an energy-dense candy bar. Do you know what energy-dense means?
Like a satisfying sort of healthy snack.
Sure, like it's satisfying, it's got lots of energy in it. This is mostly from the protein that's inside of the peanuts. Most candy bars don't have anything that's protein-packed or energy-dense inside, so Snickers sort of plays that up. It's not really a healthy snack as such. It's still chocolate and caramel and nougat and lots of things that aren't really good for you. That's right. But they like to say that it's sort of a healthy snack, and in reality, it's not that much different from health bars or granola bars, which are mostly sugar anyway.
Yeah, because a lot of like granola bars, they have granola, chocolate, sugar, and like have you ever had one of those cereal bars?
Oh yeah, that are like Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Cocoa Puffs and they're all smushed together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are very, very sugary for real.
Yeah.
But a Snickers bar likes to say that it's a little bit more healthy. Again, mostly because of the peanuts. Do you know how many peanuts there are in each Snickers bar, in each regular size Snickers bar?
I'd say maybe like 20.
That's a really good guess. 20 to 25 is a good guess. There are exactly 16 peanuts in each Snickers bar.
Because a lot of people would probably guess like a lot of peanuts.
Yeah, probably.
Just because like, you know.
And initially, Snickers had a tagline that said, packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
They should have like a Snickers bar with like a lot of peanuts.
Oh, like an extra peanutty Snickers bar?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there have been some varieties that were playing up the addition of different things for flavor or texture to the Snickers. There were peanut butter Snickers and almond Snickers and Snickers Dark, and there was a Snickers Cruncher for a while.
We can't have almond Snickers.
No, almond Snickers would be bad for us. We've got a tree nut allergy.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for later seasons, I guess, because we're not going to be eating anything that have pistachios or cashews or
I can have
walnuts in them.
pistachios, so if we have anything, I'll have that.
Oh, that's good. If we do macaroons or something, you can eat those.
Because I like pistachios.
Liz, playing up on that angle of Snickers being a healthy or an energy-packed candy bar, in 1991, during the Gulf War, we talked last week about Vietnam. Do you know what the Gulf War is?
No, I've never heard of that.
Nope, and that's probably okay too, so we'll skip that as well. On Thanksgiving in 1991, a frozen Snickers bar was sent to every U.S. soldier that was deployed to the Middle East during the Gulf War.
Really?
Yeah, why do you think they had to send frozen Snickers bars there?
Probably so they wouldn't melt.
Yeah, what's the weather like over in Iraq?
Probably very hot.
Very hot. That's correct. We talked about Halloween just a moment ago and how a Snickers bar was the first to introduce the fun size concept and that they are a perennial Halloween treat. Did you know that in 2019, Snickers tried to change the date of Halloween as a viral marketing scheme? Did you know that?
No, and that would be a very bad decision.
That would be weird, right?
Yeah, just imagine like Halloween in November. Like I can't.
Well, I don't think they were going to go all the way into November. I don't recall exactly what the date was.
What do you mean all the way? It's just a day.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It was just one day. Well, what ended up happening was Halloween was on a Thursday that year instead of on a weekend. And they said that Halloween deserved to be on a Saturday, the type of day that you could really go out and have fun and not have to worry about getting up for work or school the next day. So I guess they would have pushed it into November, huh?
Yeah, they would have pushed it to November 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, so what they did was they offered 1 million free Snickers bars if local governments would change the date of Halloween from Thursday to a weekend.
I wouldn't do it.
It didn't happen anyway, but I'll tell you what did happen one time. This was a very local thing. Grandma and Grandpa used to live outside of Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, there are certain things that are very big deals. The first day of hunting season, for example, is a holiday and kids don't have to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that happens here.
No, because we don't really hunt.
No. On Sundays in the fall, the Pittsburgh Steelers play football. And
I want to
that's...
see a Steelers game.
That would be fun. I bet Grandpa would like to go to one with you.
How far is Pittsburgh?
From here?
Yeah.
Well, you used to go with us when you were little.
Really?
Yeah, it takes about 6 hours to drive there from here. Well, what happened was Halloween was on a Sunday one year. The Pittsburgh Steelers were playing a football game at home. So the local communities all decided that they would move Halloween from that Sunday to another day. So they changed the date of trick-or-treating so that everybody could watch the Steelers game and wouldn't have to worry about missing it. That's pretty wild.
Imagine they lost the game. That would have sucked.
I don't remember who won that game. We're going to have to look it up. It would have been a date that the Steelers played on a Sunday that coincided with Halloween during one of the years that Grandma and Grandpa lived out there.
So I'm going to put this, like, imagine you're in this position. It is Halloween, you're about to go trick-or-treating, and they move trick-or-treating to a different day. You're so pumped, and then they just move it. And then you have to watch the Steelers game, which would be fun, and then they lost. What would you do?
Oh, I would be so upset.
Yeah.
I would probably get a bunch of Snickers bars and eat them all and try to drown my sorrows in candy.
That's what I do with ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you can do it with Snickers ice cream.
I don't like Snickers.
Again, spoiler alert. That's bad news for the snack today. And it is bad news when things like that happen, when you have to change your plans all of a sudden. Here's a story about a guy who had to change his plans. There was a man named, you said this earlier, Christian George. He was hiking in Colorado in 1998. He got caught in an avalanche, and the only thing he had with him was a king-size Snickers bar that he had bought that morning at a convenience store on his way up to the hike. He was able to ration the king-size Snickers bar and survive for 4 days while he crawled out of the avalanche.
He only survived for 4 days.
Well, he survived for 4 days, which was long enough for him to escape to safety. So he did survive.
Oh.
But the only thing that he had to eat for 4 days was a king-size Snickers bar that he had bought with him.
That's pretty big, though.
Yeah, they're fairly large. You can't get a king-size Snickers anymore, at least not in the old packaging. It's in a larger pack now that's labeled as a 2-serving bar.
It's probably like about that big, right?
Yeah, so they just put 2 candy bars into the package instead of 1, and they say this is 2 servings instead of 1. The idea is that you won't eat an entire enormous candy bar all by yourself and upset your stomach or gain too much weight or do other things that are unhealthy.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
You know, every now and then Snickers does try to market itself as a more socially conscious treat, and one of the things that they have done is they have claimed that they are a snack break option when you're taking school exams. There was a marketing campaign that was associated with the Graduate Record Examination, or the GRE, which is like a big test that you have to take after college.
Chocolate can't solve all your problems.
Well, there's a lot of people around the world that don't believe that, are there?
Yeah.
If you were taking a big test at school and they let you have a snack break, what do you think would be the thing that you would eat?
Celery and ranch.
Celery and ranch?
Yeah.
Would that give you a lot of brain power?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think you could do like differential equations if you ate celery?
Yeah, it's just like watery, and I like it.
You know, when we talk about carrots and ranch on another episode, we're going to talk about the superpowers that carrots give you, allegedly.
The myth about the eyesight.
The myth about the eyesight. Very good. I didn't know you knew that.
You told me about this.
All right, I guess I did know. Liz, there's a webpage called Thrillist. They talk about food and candy every now and then, and they say that Snickers bars are the best candy bars to eat frozen. Now, you can't have a frozen Snickers bar right now because, like we said before, it braces.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to eat frozen candy bars all the time because we went to a local pool, a swim club. There was a snack bar at the swim club.
You worked there.
I did. I worked at the swim club. I didn't work at the snack bar.
You were a lifeguard.
That's right. I was a lifeguard. And when I would get my breaks for my shifts, I would go into the snack bar. And again, for 50 cents, because that's how much candy bars cost back then, I would go to the snack bar and I would ask them to put different types of candy bars into the freezer where they kept the ice cream. So we would always have frozen Snickers bars, frozen Nestle Crunch bars. Frozen Reese's Pieces were really good because they were these little tiny, very cold pops of flavor that you would have on a hot day.
Or as Mom calls them, Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. That's right. That was a local way.
Reese's Pieces.
A local way to say Reese's Pieces is Reese's Piece, a colloquialism of southern New Jersey. Reese's Piece.
Re.
Another thing we had at the snack bar list was called Leo's Famous Yum Yum.
What is that?
You don't know what that is, do you?
No.
Take a guess. What do you think Leo's Famous Yum Yum might be?
Probably just a snack bar that is no longer out.
That's a good guess, but Leo's Famous Yum Yum was sort of like what you would think of water ice as.
Really?
So you've had water ice at Rita's?
Yeah.
Well, Leo's Famous Yum Yum was sort of like Rita's water ice, but it was a lot creamier and a little bit softer in texture. And we would get little paper cups of Leo's Famous Yum Yum for like 50 cents. My favorite was root beer, but there was also cherry and lemon and chocolate and blue raspberry and lots of other flavors.
I like mango. But
I don't think there were mango Yum Yums.
My dad can't have mango.
Yeah, those are also not good for me. The other treat we had there, Liz, another thing that you wouldn't think of doing with a particular kind of snack.
What?
We had deep fried soft pretzels.
Those sound great.
Yeah, they were really good. The Pennsauken Mart was nearby. They had a big soft pretzel factory or distribution point there. We would go in the mornings. They would pick up crates of soft pretzels from the Mart, bring them to the snack bar. And by the end of the day, when they were getting a little bit stale, we would take them, throw them in the deep fryer where we would make French fries. And when they came out, they were hot and crispy on the exterior, soft and fluffy and warm on the interior. And in addition to the salt that was there, we would put sugar from the little shaker that they had for coffee at the snack bar on top of them. So we'd have sugared deep fried pretzels.
Those sound great. Those sound like the deep fried Oreos.
Oh, they were delicious. Again, the combination of salty and sweet together.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, Liz,
yeah,
it's time for my favorite part of the show.
What?
Alyssa reads the ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
Liz, tell us what's in a Snickers bar.
So in the Snickers bar, there is milk chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, chocolate, skim milk, lactose, milk fat, soy lecithin, peanuts, corn syrup, sugar, palm oil, skim milk. They already said that. Oh, Dad, I think there might be a little incident or something that they didn't write right.
Yeah, what's that?
So in the first thing, it says milk chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, chocolate, skim milk, lactose, and then it says peanuts, corn syrup, sugar, palm oil, skim milk, lactose. So it looks like coffee.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look at the parentheses there, skim milk is a sub-ingredient of the chocolate, the milk chocolate that they have. So it takes skim milk to make milk chocolate, but milk chocolate is one of the ingredients. And then there's more skim milk that they use in the caramel.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they have to list it twice.
And then there's salt, egg whites, and artificial flavor.
And the egg whites we said were for making the nougat.
Nougat.
Are you ready, Liz?
Yes!
Are you ready to try the Snickers?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here are the rules of the game. Junk Feud is a culinary clash to see which treat will be crowned the undisputed champion of snacks. It's a King of the Mountain style battle in which the reigning champ takes on a new challenger each week to see which snack reigns supreme. Liz.
Yeah.
Our reigning, defending, undisputed world heavyweight champion of snacks is...
the double stuffed Oreo.
The double stuffed Oreo. This is its second title defense, and today the challenger is the Snickers bar. My brother, your Uncle Matt, says the Snickers bar is the best candy bar of all time. Do you think he's right?
Beg to disagree.
Well, oh my gosh, you're just giving it away. Liz.
Yeah.
There are no additional challengers. There are no run-ins. This is not a three-way dance. It is not a fatal four-way.
It's just the Snickers.
It's just Snickers one-on-one with double stuffed Oreo. And Liz.
You know what I think we should do, though?
What should we do?
I think we should do the regular Snickers versus the frozen Snickers.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I think.
Yeah.
There's no change in the actual ingredients when you freeze a Snickers. Obviously, it's the same Snickers bar. The only thing that you're doing is changing the temperature and the texture. Yeah. Both of those things together can change how you experience the taste or the flavor of the Snickers bar. On a hot day, I love a frozen Snickers bar. I popped 2 of them in the freezer right before this show so that we could try one of them out. You can't have them because of the braces. I had to eat it by myself.
Yeah. I just had the regular one and just a bite of it.
Yeah, you just had a bite of the regular one.
Yeah.
I think that probably frozen Snickers is an interesting experience to eat, but I don't know that I would want to substitute it for a regular Snickers bar in every single instance. When we did double stuffed Oreos, we said, yes, double stuffed Oreo is vastly superior to a single cream filling Oreo, to a regular Oreo.
Because I think they're more similar, so we could probably just have those regular instead of substituting it.
Yeah, so I think we're going to stick with the original Snickers, although really, a frozen Snickers is a special treat, more like a sometimes food, right?
Yeah.
So what does this mean, Liz? It means It's
Crunch time.
It's crunch time. We're going to rate our snacks using a tier list from
Sprinkles to Fun Dip.
From Sprinkles to Fun Dip. So snacks can be graded A, B, C, D, or F, the very best treats, earning the elusive S tier ranking. The following contest is scheduled for one serving and is for the undisputed championship of junk food. List, what do you think about the packaging of a Snickers bar?
So the full size or the fun size?
Doesn't matter, either one.
Because they're different.
They are different, you're right. What are different about the fun size wrapper and the regular size Snickers wrapper?
So the full size gives us a picture of the inside.
An actual cutaway of the inside of the Snickers bar, sure, showing the peanuts and the caramel and the nougat.
And it looks pretty similar. It's just the peanuts are more covered by the caramel in the treat.
Yep.
And in the fun size, it is the same original Snickers logo, just without the picture of the snack.
I really like that Snickers logo. It's very iconic.
Yeah.
The colors pop, just like we talked about with Cool Ranch Dorito. You're using primary colors, reds and blues, against a really dark brown background here that looks itself like a candy bar. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the word Snickers itself is stylized. It's all capital letters. That's how they stylize it in their advertising copy too. All caps. So it's like, boom, punching you right in the face. How do you like the look of the candy bar?
If I just saw this without there being like a wrapper on it, I would say that it looks delicious.
Yeah, it looks like a big piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know it was a Snickers bar, you wouldn't know what was inside it. It would be kind of like a
chocolate shell on ice cream.
Yeah, like
basically.
a guessing game to try to figure out what's inside.
I like those games where they have like the clay and they put the nail polish over it and then they crack it to see what color clay.
Well, okay, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, it's super fun. It's like a guessing game.
Sure.
I did it and then I got nail polish all over my hand and it was a mess.
How do you think the Snickers bar smelled? What's it smell like on the outside?
It smelled very chocolatey. That was my first thing. It smelled very chocolatey. And then you could have like a very faint sniff of like the salty peanuts.
Yeah, there's like a whiff of peanut or sort of like that peanut buttery essence that you get when you eat a snack that has chocolate and peanut butter together.
Yeah.
No real distinct sound from a Snickers. Still a little bit too chewy. Even the peanuts are not crunchy enough, I don't think, to get like a big crunch like we did with Doritos or Oreos.
Yeah.
But what did it taste like for you? That's the biggest point.
I don't personally like it all together, so I'm going to do it like piece by piece.
Sure, good idea.
So the chocolate, I liked a lot. It tasted like Hershey's in my opinion. And it's a little bit like saltier. And then the caramel wasn't bad. I liked that too. The peanuts I like, and the nougat I like. So I like everything. I just don't like it all together.
See, that's very interesting because that's usually the opposite of the reaction that people have when they eat something like a Snickers where there are lots of components. The idea behind the alchemy or sort of the food engineering is to bring all of those disparate ingredients together so that you like them all together better than you would like just any one single component. But for you, it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like Snickers quite a bit. They're not my favorite candy bar. I won't tell you what it is. We'll save that for another episode.
I know
but they're
what it
very
is.
good. Hey, no spoilers.
Got it.
They're
No
very
spoilers.
good. A Snickers bar does the thing that it's trying to do and does it very well. It is a sweet treat that is a little bit filling, that has a fair amount of satisfaction to it, again, because of the, little bit of protein that's in those peanuts. So it keeps you satisfied, keeps you filled up. It's sweet, it's salty, it's all the good things that you get together. You made mention of the chocolate and how it tastes a little bit like Hershey's chocolate. I would say, yes, it's got that very much Americanized grocery store chocolate shell on it, which is very sweet, a little tiny bit sour, and a little bit more crackly than creamy. Would you say so as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the caramel. I like the fact that it picks up some of the saltiness from the peanuts because salted caramel is a very nice flavor combination. The nougat is really just kind of there. I think that it's a peanut butter flavored nougat as opposed to like a regular plain nougat or a vanilla nougat, but it mostly seems like it's just there to be filling up space. It's not adding a whole lot for me, unfortunately.
I just don't. It tastes fine, but it definitely looks like it's taking up a lot of it. It's like half of it, but it doesn't really taste like anything in my opinion.
Yeah, nougat seems more like a cost-saving measure than just about anything else.
Yeah.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that says that their favorite candy is nougat.
Yeah.
Probably not anyone that we know.
Yeah.
So, Liz.
Maybe like some French guy.
You think there are some hypothetical French people that are wandering around saying, yes, I love nougat very much.
Nougat, nougat, nougat.
Nougat,
Delicioso.
nougat. Well, that would be Spanish.
Oh.
I don't know what delicious is in French. If you know what delicious is in French, if you know how to say delicious in French,
email us.
Send us a message at junkfoodpod@gmail.com.
We could really just look this up, but it's more fun for you guys to tell us.
I agree. Liz.
Yeah.
Let's hit the bliss point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what the bliss point is in food science. The bliss point is the perfect combination of sugar, fat, and salt that satisfies you but still leaves you hungry for more. Liz, Snickers has a really good bliss point.
It does.
There's tons of sugar in these things, obviously. Lots of different kinds of fat in the chocolate and the nougat and the caramel. The salt on the peanuts, I think, is the thing that sets it off for me. So really good bliss point for Snickers. What are your final thoughts on this week's snack and how it stacks up against the champion double stuffed Oreos?
So my rating is probably just because their initial idea was, again, for everything that most people don't like separate, but to put it all together and make it like the best snack.
Yep.
It didn't work on me, so that's kind of just like 1 point down. Originally, it was like an A because it was like good and stuff, but I don't really like it that much, so I'm giving it a B.
A B is still a fantastic rating. That's above average. It's a very good snack. I'd say for me, it's a B+. I like them quite a bit. Not my favorite candy bar, but one of the best, certainly the best-selling candy bar in the world for sure. I like them a little bit more frozen, but not all the time, just as a special treat every now and then. Would you say that you like Snickers better than a double stuffed Oreo?
No.
No, I don't think I would either, and I think that the Oreo comes through with the finish really quite easily here. Knocks Snickers out. Double stuffed Oreo retains the championship for a third week in a row. That's impressive. Off to a strong start.
I'm not surprised if Oreo wins this entire thing.
I know. I wouldn't be surprised if double stuffed Oreos make it all the way through as the champion of snacks for season 1 of Junk Food.
Yeah.
Liz.
Yeah.
Did we have any contestants from the Oreo rule this week?
No new Oreo rule.
No new Oreo today. Sorry. We do have something, though, and that's a new segment on the show called Will It Deep Fry?
Yes.
Yeah, each episode we're going to ask a very important question. Can you deep fry this week's snack? Liz.
Everything tastes better deep fried.
I think you're giving away your preconceived notions there just a little bit. Oreos, the champion of snacks so far. Famously very delicious when deep fried. We've had deep fried Oreos this year, a couple times actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone to some food truck festivals where they had deep fried Oreos and they were really good. Powdered sugar on top, coated in sort of like a funnel cake batter like at a carnival.
I don't really like Oreo deep fried.
They're not your favorite?
No.
Oh man, Ella ate like a whole tray full of them.
I wish it was like an Oreo, but like French fry. I wish it wasn't like puffy almost.
Oh, like just a very thin batter instead of the big fluffy batter?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. Doritos, last week's snack, are already deep fried. Did you know this?
Yeah.
That Snickers bars can be and commonly are deep fried also.
Really?
Yeah, the original Mars bars, which are still very popular overseas in parts of Europe, they popped up deep fried in what are called chip shops in Scotland in the mid-90s. Do you know what a chip shop is?
A shop that sells chips.
Yeah, what are chips over in the UK?
French fries.
French fries, right. So chip shops are places that would sell like fish and chips.
Oh, yeah.
So fried fish fillets and French fries?
Yeah.
So that was in Scotland in the mid-90s. It made its way over across the pond to us. Fried Snickers bars became carnival favorites in the U.S. right around the turn of this century, right around the 2000s. It makes me feel kind of old to refer to the year 2000 as the turn of the century.
Yeah.
Do you know about a thing called Y2K, Alyssa?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Y2K bug?
Nope.
Oh boy, well I'm going to save that for a future segment.
Okay.
Speaking of segments, it's time to hit the back of the box.
Yay!
This is a weekly segment where we play a little game. Would you like to play a game?
Yes, I would like to play a game, Daddy.
Still creepy. Liz, it's summer. Lots of people go on road trips in the summer. Today, we're going to take a trip to Mount Crunchmore.
Oh, yeah.
On a trip to Mount Crunchmore, we select the 4 snacks that we think best represent a certain category of junk food. Today's installment of Mount Crunchmore...
Candy bars.
Candy bars. Liz.
Yeah.
In light of today's outcome and ranking, where Snickers was unable to unseat the champion, but still got a very respectable above-average grade from both of us, does Snickers deserve a place on the Mount Crunchmore of candy bars? What is your Mount Crunchmore?
For Mount Crunchmore, Snickers will be at the bottom.
But it still does make your top 4 candy bars?
Actually, like, you go first.
Oh, man. That's a tough one. I don't think I was prepared for this, but I can tell you this right now. Number one on Mount Crunchmore is probably, for me, the Twix bar. I think it's my favorite candy bar. I think it's the best
You just said what your
candy bar.
favorite candy bar was, and
Yeah,
you
I
said
know.
you weren't going to say it.
Well, you tricked me again,
Gotcha.
little weasel. So, number one, Twix. I think number two is probably a whatchamacallit, and I think by the end of this, you'll see what I value in candy bars and where I rank them.
What is a whatchamacallit?
Whatchamacallit is a chocolate bar that has crisp rice and I think peanut butter and caramel and a bunch of things like that inside.
Okay.
It's very crunchy. I would say after that is probably the Reese's Take 5 bar, and that's got peanuts and peanut butter and pretzels and caramel and all. I think 5 ingredients. That's why it's called Take 5. Does it have peanut butter? I'm not sure. It's very good though. So Twix, whatchamacallit, Take 5, and then the last candy bar.
I can't think of a fourth one.
I think this is going to be a bit out in left field because you don't see these much anymore. But this was a very popular candy bar, at least for me and my friends when we were younger, and it's called a Caramello. A Caramello was a Cadbury bar with just milk chocolate and a little pocket of caramel inside of it. And off the top of my head, I think that would be my Mount Crunchmore. Twix, whatchamacallit, Take 5, Caramello. Liz, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to be very original and say my favorite is Hershey's.
A plain Hershey's bar?
Yeah.
Wow, very bold.
And second is probably Twix.
Good choice.
Then Snickers.
Snickers third, excellent, wow.
That's only because I can't really think of any other candy bars.
So you've got 3 spaces and then a to be determined in number 4?
No, I have it.
You have a number 4.
And one of the cereal bars, the Lucky Charms cereal bars.
Oh, so very interesting. So you're counting a Lucky Charms cereal snack bar as a candy bar.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting when we get to the season on cereal and we talk about breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
Breakfast cereals are meals that are also snacks. So when we talked about our definition of a snack earlier and we said it's something you would be embarrassed to tell somebody that you had as a meal, very often I'll just have a bowl of cereal for dinner. And if I tell people that, maybe they look at me a little bit funny, but it's completely understandable to just eat cereal as a meal. But
I do that.
so many of the cereals that we like so much are so sugary that they should probably be classified more as a dessert or a snack than as a meal.
Yeah.
Like in my house growing up, we weren't allowed to eat what we called sugar cereals as breakfast. We could only eat them on the weekends. We couldn't have them before school days. So on a school day, you had to have something like Cheerios or Rice Krispies or Corn Flakes.
Rice Krispies are sugary.
Not as much as you would think. Not in contrast with some of the other cereals, like Lucky Charms, for example, or
Those
Fruity
just
Pebbles or Cocoa
We
Puffs.
have this box of Lucky Charms marshmallows in
Just
our
the
cabinet.
marshmallows.
Those are so...
Well, they're pure sugar. That's why they're so good.
They taste better with Cheerios, though. So now what I'm going to do is if I ever have Lucky Charms, I can just put more marshmallows in when I run out.
Oh, that's a good choice. So you can like double the amount of marshmallows per cereal bit in your Lucky Charms if you wanted to.
Yep.
Or you could add the Lucky Charms marshmallow bits to other cereals that don't have marshmallow.
No, we're going to have to save that for a different back of the box segment. When we make something.
Good choice. Well, it's time to wrap it up. Liz, this podcast should reach you in excellent condition, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. If you've got a question for us, you can write to the address on the label. That's junkfoodpod@gmail.com. Hey, Liz.
Yeah.
This podcast has contained your recommended daily allowance of fun. For more, go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or wherever you choose to be social and find us at JunkFoodPod. That's at JunkFoodPod. Stream with us on Twitch, watch fun-sized snack reviews on YouTube, buy merch on TeePublic, fund us on Patreon at JunkFoodPod to become an official feudie and for exclusive bites. And you can catch all the snacks in here each and every week wherever you listen to podcasts. Until we see you again, for Alyssa, I'm Mike.
Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Bye.